going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner.
Man, I'm confident in our offense. That's for sure.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube and everywhere that you get your podcasts. Rate the show 5 stars. Make sure to rate 5 stars out on Apple Podcasts, because you will be in the running for a Darnell Wright jersey. When we reach 58 5-star reviews, we will announce live on the show who gets that beloved Darnell Wright jersey. But today, we are breaking down another Chicago Bears loss. It is good vibes. I got a Hawaiian shirt on, trying to liven the mood up after a completely blown loss from our beloved Chicago Bears. But we're going to be breaking it down. Johnny PayPal, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing all right, Brad. It was such a mixed emotions. Like I think any Bears fan can experience it of like, yeah, we're doing so well. Like when we were doing so well that first half, especially that second quarter when we got 21 points in one quarter, it was just like all these emotions of like, oh my gosh, we're doing so well. But also like I've been taught, you can't just I wanted to like start texting my friends, texting all these people, be like, Bears are back,
Bears are back, yeah.
But I was like, we don't know till the second half. I mean, we still have another half to play, and the Bears have done this before. We know how they are and can't finish games and can't make those second half adjustments, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I'm not surprised. It was not surprising.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about the Bears' 28-31 loss to the Denver Broncos. And I have down on the board, say one word to describe the game overall. But PayPal, if you saw me frantically opening up my phone, I was going to show on Twitter, I actually had something I was going to post that was like, Bears are back, right? Because everyone's super pumped. But then I deleted it because I was like, no, this is what happens. This is what happens. And honestly, this is what the Bears showed. And one word to describe it, it's just, I want to say disappointing, but it's almost expected, right? Like for us as Bears fans, this is kind of what happens. We get so excited. What we saw was great. And I think that's what we're going to talk a lot about with today is I think especially today, it's not going to just be all doom and gloom. It's going to be what did look good, because there was a lot that went well. Justin Fields passed for over 300 yards, 335 yards, and you look on the ground, 171 rushing yards on the ground, 5.5 yards average on the ground as well. Pretty good. And then you're talking about Khalil Herbert, 103 rushing yards on 18 carries. And the defense, they did get just 1 sack, but still, like, I think the offense is what we're really caring about right now. But I don't hate the game. I just think that they played better, but this is what bad teams do. We've said it. This is what bad teams do. And to me, this reflects on coaching. But PayPal, I guess if you had to blame one group, right? Ryan Poles, Justin Fields, Luke Getsy, Matt Eberflus, who are you blaming?
Yeah, I was about to say, you're saying, that's what bad teams do. I was about to say, yeah, it's what bad coaches and coaching does is you can't finish those games. You can't execute. I mean, I'm going to, I was about to rip my hair off. I've heard execute so many times from Eberflus the past few weeks of their team not executing. And that's the only reason why we lose. It's frustrating. I think everyone was talking about that fourth down of, they're going for it on 1, or do you kick the field goal? Like Kyra Santos, that would have been automatic. That would have put us up by 3, but also it was 2.5 minutes ish left. I don't know about you, Brad, but I'm not super mad about going for it. What I'm mad about is they're like, our running was unstoppable. And, we thought that just keep running the ball is going to work. put the ball in Justin Fields' hands. The
Yeah.
man threw 7 incompletions, and like a couple of those were just because they were throwaways because people got to him like so fast, and our offensive line kind of looked iffy sometimes. So, like, why didn't we actually just have like Justin Fields roll out to the outside? Because that was working all day. Have just people crossing, wide receivers crossing, and some people sit, some people, keep running. Just why didn't we do that? Because it was working all day. And that's what really got me frustrated. Why our coaching didn't make a play like that instead of running it.
I agree with you there where you talk about that the fourth down because we didn't go for it the first time. And to me, I was feeling it. Like you should do that. You should make a statement. They didn't. They went for it a second time and they got it. And that third time, my feeling on it was just it felt like they weren't committed to it. That they didn't feel like they were going to do it because they ran out of the shotgun. And also they were trying to make them jump off sides right before that. It just felt like a weird and odd situation to be in overall. So I didn't buy it. And also when your defense is allowing that many points, I see why you might want to just, hey, we got to do this. But still, I just felt like overall it was just a dumb play call. And I agree with you. You got to put the ball in Justin Fields' hands. But I do also want to call our boy Broski's out there saying, hey, people giving Fields a pass because he finally threw 300 yards, but still committed 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter. He's still a turnover machine. That's unacceptable. I think that's a really good point because people are giving him a lot of credit. I will give him credit in this is one of the best games, if not the best game I've seen him throw. And I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers game. That's the other time that I really remember Justin Fields really kind of putting me in awe and going, this guy's great. This guy's playing really nicely. But what Broski's saying, I agree with. When you give up those 2 turnovers, you ended the game. And the last one, I don't know if you heard PayPal, but Cole Kmet and him, I guess there's a miscommunication between the two. But you have to hold on to the ball when you get hit. And you fumbled it. They scored a touchdown. And without that, the Bears win. Like, it's as simple as that. Without both of those plays, the Bears win. And he had a phenomenal game.
I think what's just so hard is, like, putting a blame on the guy that passed so well, like getting that 300 yards, getting, escaping the pocket when there's nothing there and using his legs. And then it's just those 2 kind of, the interception. I don't know really who to blame exactly. I don't know if I specifically put the blame on Fields because it was kind of, one was thinking one way, one, Cole Kmet was thinking the other way. And then it sounds like it was a good play call by the Denver Broncos on defense. They had a double edge. So then one guy was let free and then just absolutely smacked Fields. It's there's a lot of positive things, Brad, and I think that's the thing. It was like, it was such Bears fashion of like, wow, things are going so great, but then those 2 turnovers just feel like they were the end of the world. It seemed like that was just kind of killed the life out of this team, and Fields like, can we have him not commit turnovers at least one week?
I think what Fields showed, because let's just dig deeper into Justin Fields' big day, because I think what he really showed is that this is what I can do. And we've talked about this before. This guy has a lot of potential. And what I liked seeing, one of my favorite plays, I don't know if you remember seeing this, where it was a blown block on the left-hand side. It really should have been Whitehair shifts left and gets the defensive end, and then Larry Borom gets the blitzer. The blitzer wide open drills Justin Fields. He gets it away. Quick short pass to DJ Moore. And I will say one of my keys to victory and my X factor was DJ Moore having a big play. We saw that touchdown grab that didn't look like a touchdown grab, but I'll take it. That big touchdown grab. We said, like I pointed out, DJ Moore had to do something big, and he came up big in the first drive. And then everybody's backing him. Everybody's rooting for him. Everybody's going crazy. And then, I really do fault a lot of the defense, and we'll get into the defense later on about some of their falters and what went on there. But I'm also looking at the PFF grade. I think they accidentally leaked it out, and I got to it. But Justin Fields, an 89.2 grade, which is elite or borderline elite, and then 88.6 passing grade. And I think at initial watch, but I felt that too when you're watching this game. He seemed to be decisive. He was throwing with some anticipation, and he looked good. So let's continue this. You saw what you can do. It's on tape, and we're going against the Commanders next. Don't burn the tape. Build off of it. But anything else you want to add on about just Justin Fields in general?
Yeah, I think it is that fine line of just that turnovers and but yeah, one of my favorite plays was it was another one that was kind of an he was under pressure, and like in the past I think he would have tucked it, ran it, try and get like an outlet, get a little bit free, then throw it. Instead, he trusted, I think it was DJ Moore, maybe. It was just like a quick slant. And he just threw it, anticipated the throw to DJ Moore and got the first down. It was like that was awesome. Like
Yeah.
normally it's like Justin Fields is like
I'll
sees
wait.
pressure, like senses pressure. It reminded me of, like Mitch Trubisky, like hated pressure. And he'll sense the pressure and he'll like basically try and run out of the pocket, then throw it. And it's like instead he stood still, threw the ball and delivered to the receiver, which I was like, that's awesome.
I agreed. I think it was a good game. And I think also this shows what type of a quarterback he could be without having the running game be a huge part of his game. He had 4 carries for 25 yards, and he got 20 yards on that one carry. And so I really do think that this kind of showed what he can do as a quarterback. And it seems like this is what should have happened last week with Kansas City. But it didn't. And also, I was looking back last year because I remember in fantasy football land, Justin Fields and the Bears offense did nothing the first 3 weeks. And we've really done nothing the first 3 weeks. So maybe now it's Luke Getsy is still a very new play caller. So maybe we start to see the offense a little better. Or maybe the Denver Broncos might be the worst defense in the league. So we'll see. I think that's where the Commanders will be a nice gut check time for us to say, hey, where are we at? And then what? I think we have the Raiders after that. Vikings and then Raiders. Then we're just going to be chugging the offensive Kool-Aid after that. Yeah. So I think this Commanders test is going to be absolutely huge for them because that is going to be that's going to really show, is this offense, did they learn something? Are they going to do something or something? Or is it just going to be the same old? But PayPal, something that was very different about this offense was Chase Claypool was inactive. And afterwards, when asked about Chase Claypool, Matt Eberflus said that he was not even there. And it was kind of asked, or at first, he said that it was Chase Claypool's decision not to be there. And then someone from Bears PR said, no, it was, we instructed him not to be there, right? So no matter what, it was a weird scenario. I loved it. Even though that we don't love it. I loved it. I loved it because
that Claypool wasn't there.
I love that he wasn't there because EQ St. Brown, I don't love him as a wide receiver, but he's at least someone that plays and blocks and tries. And that's the biggest thing. It's about executing. You see that 4th down play when it basically ruined the Bears' chances. They had 4th and 1. Darnell Wright said it. It was his fault. Darnell Wright did not block his guy. It's about execution. And Chase Claypool never executed, never did anything. So because of that, I like the idea of sending a message and saying, you're not going to be here. Because what did he bring?
I thought you first liked that he that he just was reacting in that way, I guess. Because I'm more on the side, like I feel like Claypool probably honestly sat out and didn't want to come because he's kind of a baby and very like emotional, like we've seen it all off season. Um, and that really that makes me just like, yeah, we saw EQ like step in, had that consistent role. And I know it's like put a first round draft pick, basically,
Yeah.
second round, but first round draft pick on Claypool. But that doesn't mean we just have to just throw him in just because we wasted a pick on him. Like, he's not ready. You can tell he's not ready, and yet make him disciplined and show him that we're not going to play him until he learns this offense, till he learns how to block, till he learns how to try. Like, he has great hands, and I think it's like he has that ceiling of like, wow, like he can block as well as EQ, but then he also has that receiver side where he's a really dangerous like 2-on-1 deep ball guy.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to try and pull this up real quick because I noticed how abysmal the targets are to Chase Claypool. And that's where, to me, just bench him. And that's where I don't mind it. And Broski's asking, can we get like a 7th? I think it's worth at least a try, right? To just say, hey, it's not going well here, and what can we get for him? And yeah, and this is the big thing. He's gotten 4 receptions on 14 targets, Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
and I think that's what
how is that possible?
Right? And last year it was 14 and 29. It's just, I don't see it. I wish him the best of luck, but after he made those comments, he's not out there. And obviously, we didn't see him, and the offense was clicking. We'll see what happens next week or on Thursday with the Washington Commanders. Like we said, that's going to be a big game to kind of break down. But
yeah, what a great way. Honestly, great job by the coaching of like being like, hey, look, yeah, we can do good without you. This is our best offensive game. And Justin Fields is throwing for 4 touchdowns. He's throwing to all his big receivers, and we're doing well just without you. So it's kind of that, yeah, you gotta step it up, Claypool.
Darnell Mooney, 4 receptions, 51 yards. Cole Kmet, 7 receptions, 85 yards. DJ Moore, 8 for 131. All those players were looking good. And also Justin Fields breaking the record for most pass completions in a row with 16, and then bombing out the deep ball and then having that fall incomplete and ruining the streak.
That was so sad.
Fields had a really good game. I think that no matter how you slice it, yes, there was the fumble. Yes, there was the interception. The fourth quarter, I think I heard it was he ended up going like 5 of 11. So at the end, kind of faltered. But to me, this is the type of game that I am fine with our quarterback having is my big takeaway with this. But I want to actually flip over to the offensive line, PayPal, because I didn't mind what I saw out of the offensive line. But I will say this. I do think that Larry Borom took a step back, looked kind of like the Larry Borom that people were afraid of. I think that he was very scary. I didn't think that he looked very good out there, but also I'm pulling this up, 92.5 pass blocking efficiency. That is not good. 5 pressures he allowed, but also I got to just bring this up. Why is Lucas Patrick out there? And I know that
every week we wonder.
Right? And Tevin Jenkins is just a guard. He's just a guard. But the reason why Tevin Jenkins coming back, which he can after this week, I believe, but that could be great because then you have Cody Whitehair moving to the center and Tevin Jenkins at left guard. Lucas Patrick, to me, just does not look great. 96.2 pass block efficiency rate, not good for the center position. Allowed 3 pressures. Same thing with Cody Whitehair. Darnell Wright also allowed 3 pressures as well. But Nate Davis, 0 pressures allowed. Looked a lot better today just from a pass blocking perspective on first glance. I thought there was so many times that I saw Nate Davis on one person holding his own in the block, and then Lucas Patrick, as soon as a guy goes on him, he's like, dang it. And they're just right by him, going after the quarterback. I thought overall, very good for Nate Davis, just to at least show
Yeah.
what he can do.
Yeah, I was about to bring him up too. Of like, he was the one guy I was like, hey, I forgot he was out there because it's like I thought that was Ja'Tyre Carter for a second, just because it was like, hey, that guy's actually not saying Ja'Tyre Carter was blocking well at all last game. We kind of learned that
Oh, yeah.
he's still a backup.
He's just Alex Bars. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like great being like, hey, hopefully Nate Davis, like mentally, he's actually kind of okay now and actually being able to focus
Yeah.
on football. Because honestly, it seems like with those 3 weeks of like, hey, is he even going to be back on this team? Like, is it really this serious that maybe he has to step away for a whole season? But hey, like, it's great news for our team that he was able to come in here and actually look like he is focused on playing football. So great
Yeah.
props to him.
Yeah.
I think the running game, especially on the inside, it just seemed like it was still bad. It just
Yeah.
seemed like we could not run on the inside, especially that first half. It was really struggling to get some rushing yards. And then it got a little better second half. It was like, okay, Khalil Herbert ran with that 24-yard run, and then it dropped off a little bit, but still it was doing a lot better than the first half. So
Oh, for
offensive
sure.
line was a little streaky in the running game, type of things.
I think too, and kudos to our running backs. I don't think that the run blocking looked very great, but still, you have Khalil Herbert 5.7 yards a carry. Roshan Johnson only 2.6, but Khalil Herbert had a good game. He continues to fight off Roshan Johnson. And also another fun fact, this actually really shocked me. Khalil Herbert 56 offensive snaps, Roshan Johnson only 16. So I know a lot of us were like, okay, Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, it's been 50-50. They kept Khalil Herbert out there, and Khalil looked better. We got to give it to him. He looked better. There was that drop, yes, but he had to reach his arms up all the way. He's got pads on, right? But I thought that just overall, Khalil Herbert really showing that he's the guy. Also, got to give a shout out to our boy Chris. She said just dropped a 5-star out on Apple. Let's go. Let's go. He's now
in the running
for the Darnell Wright jersey. But also, too, I like what Broski brought up, too. Another tight end sneak. Why?
Okay, yeah, what the heck? I was nervous. That brought me flashbacks. I thought that's what they were gonna do on that fourth down.
Oh, God, if they did that.
In one situation, I was like, I swear to God, if they have that Cole Kmet sneak again, like the Nazis was saying it, like, it's so stupid. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like you already have a huge quarterback. Why doesn't he learn how to just go in there? Like, you're losing a blocker. It just doesn't make sense. Like,
You're
I don't
already
like
running a QB power to the left side. Like, you're not focused on his health. You're putting him in a situation to get smacked on the left-hand side. What's the difference between that and doing what the Eagles do? Like, try that. Coach that. Because there's been so many times that we just need 1 yard to get.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we struggle. We struggle every time. And it seems like we resort to that play and then we resort to running it. And both of those have not worked. So let's do something else.
Also, speaking of running, Velus Jones, the run. Also, we had a couple end arounds as well, because we had Tyler Scott get involved and carry the ball too. 2 carries, 19 yards. Velus Jones 1 carry for 10 yards. And I can tell you why the Velus Jones carry worked without even watching the tape. It's because DJ Moore got injured. They put Velus Jones in. Nobody thought twice about it, and they handed it off. Because every time Velus is in, he doesn't run a route. He runs an end around. So with this, at least, it worked because they weren't expecting it. But I'm looking at it. Velus Jones only had 3 snaps on the offensive side of the ball, one of those being an end around. It's very predictable when Velus is out there. That's what ends up happening. Also, speaking of predictable, Mercedes Lewis, 21 snaps today, 4 routes ran. And that's why I loved the Mercedes Lewis screen, because no one expects it because he's always blocking.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually a brilliant call, because you give it to the ageless dinosaur because he's always going to block. So people don't expect him to actually be out there in the passing game. I thought that was a really smart play by Luke Getsy, a very good play call because people just aren't expecting it. You need to do something different to throw them off. I just thought
Yeah.
good play
I'm
overall.
I'm glad you weren't I was the only one. I feel like I was like, yeah, every time Velas, he only does an end around.
Yeah,
So I don't know how I feel about the fake end arounds, but like maybe just at least do something like that. I don't know if they had been running that, if they just do the end around, they don't do the fake handoff, but they just have a guy going across and then they hike it. But either way, it opens up the fake, so that's good at least. But yeah, I mean, if we're going with these kind of tight ends, Brad, Cole Kmet, that was the one guy I really wanted. I thought it was the Bears needed to include to make Justin Fields his job easier. And it was awesome that they included him with 7 receptions, 85 yards, was able to find the end zone twice. Like, I think we really saw kind of that connection that they had, and them kind of talking, it seemed like they were really both frustrated. Like, we should have been on the same page for that last play, that last
totally.
interception. Like, it seemed like they were frustrated, but like they talked about it even before, like right before like the interviews and everything happened for social media. So it was, I love seeing that because it's like they're both guys that have been on this losing team for so long and just want to change that. So, and they're great leaders, great people. So, it was great seeing Cole Kmet get 9 targets and catch 7 of them. Like he's a monster to deal with and kind of a really easy target for Fields to throw to.
And this is the thing too. I like what Broski said. They focused on getting the ball in the hands of the playmakers, the running backs, the wide receivers. And I think that's the best part about Justin Fields. We've said this before. Just get the ball out. Just throw it. And that's what
Yeah.
he did. He threw it. He got the ball out. They completed passes. And then they were able to do what they do best. And Cole Kmet, highest graded player from PFF, 91.2 grade. Very
That's my
good.
boy.
Khalil Herbert, 83.1 grade. DJ Moore, 85 grade. So you really do see that with your playmakers really stepping up and having a good game. Khalil Herbert, too, I think he's really been overshadowed because of the rookie Roshan Johnson coming in. But Khalil Herbert has looked good. He's looked
Yeah.
really good. There's been a handful of plays where people are on him and he's breaking tackles and he's moving forward. And I thought of this today, PayPal, because I was mowing the lawn, listening to some Bears podcast, and I remember whenever I heard someone say, just run the football, I always thought that was dumb because it was Matt Nagy. Like with Matt Nagy, we would run it for 3 yards, and we'd always run it for 3 yards. But now we can run the football. 5.7 yards with Khalil Herbert. And every week it seems like we're running for over that magic line of 4.0. So keep it going. At least ride the momentum. Understand that your offense does not suck if you can play like this and against the Denver Broncos. But let's see what happens next week when we go against the Commanders and they're really good defensive line. Hopefully we have Tevin Jenkins back for that at least. But let's go over to this defensive side of the ball. The Flus defense falters, ultimately letting up 31 points to the Denver Broncos. We know that the offense, we said Broncos would have a good offense, but we ended up allowing 214 passing yards, 3 touchdowns to Russell Wilson. Then on the ground, we allowed 5.1 yards. Hey, Samaje Perine, 6 carries for 12 yards, but Jaleel McLaughlin, 7 carries for 70. Yeah, pick him up. I already have the waiver claim out there for him. For 7 carries, 72 yards. And overall, I felt like we saw same old, same old. It was everybody's super far deep. They even called it out on the broadcast. And just easy passes. That's all it is. It's just easy passes the whole freaking game. Anything else that I might be missing with this, PayPal?
No, it was that the entire game, and it's like the only time like I can, it was just easy passes, no pressure from the defensive line. I think you saw a lot more trying to include brisker on the blitzes, which he did pretty
Yeah.
good on that. I thought it actually gave Russell Wilson some pressure. He is really good at escaping the pocket, so you got to give him that. Yeah, Russell Wilson, he is good. And I think we kind of learned that this game. He is good. Like, he did not mess up at all.
He's not Nathaniel Hackett version
Yeah.
of him, but he's not Seahawks. Like, he's kind of right in
Exactly.
the middle of that, where he's
He's in the
just
middle.
he's Kirk Cousins now. Like, he's at the
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins level. That's really what he is right now. He's a slightly more mobile Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, but it was same thing, different day with the defense. Like, at least, like, it was awesome seeing that energy from them from the get-go. Just that first half, it seemed like they were really on something, that they were playing aggressive. Even though they weren't getting those pressures, they were playing aggressive. They were getting the guys down. But yeah, it was just constant kind of wearing the offense out of, like, yeah, just keep throwing to us short. Yeah, you guys can keep doing that. Just keep doing that. And then it's like, all right,
Yeah.
first down after first down. And then they started throwing it. And then it's like, once they started giving to Julian McLaughlin, it felt like Aaron Jones to me, of like,
Yep.
they'll just throw a little check down to him, and then he'll run 20 yards on us because our guys can't pursue a fast guy. We just can't do it. When they're on the outside, we just can't do it. So it felt like the Packers, like, in a way where they were just able to throw it to him and able to run with that shifty, fast running back. Like, he just owned us when it came to our offense and defense.
This is where, too, like, I agree, like Broski pointed this out. Why are our corners lined up 10 yards? And you just saw
It's
the
stupid.
quick little stuff. And I agree with Skylark. Like, put the players in position on this defensive side of the ball. Like, if they're lining up 10 yards back, what are they supposed to do? It doesn't take a genius to say, hey, throw it quick. They're allowing that, right?
Yeah.
It's just the zone coverage. It's so frustrating because I know we've said this. We really like Tyreek Stevenson. Stevenson, I thought, played a very good game today, all things considered. I even think Terrell Smith didn't look half bad. But who are they so afraid of with the speed? I know Marvin Mims is pretty fast. Jerry Jeudy's shifty. He's not a blazer. But
Yeah.
I don't get why they felt like they needed to back up that much. Cortland Sutton has wheels, but he's not a blazer. And I don't understand the concept from the coaching staff to say, we're not going to allow any of this. And they're like, okay.
There's no good reason. There's no good reason, because literally, like, I think we brought up both the speed thing of, like, okay, you're supposed to play back on speed, right?
Yeah.
From what I've been hearing, and you saw the Bills do it today against the Dolphins, is you actually play closer up and you play more physical against speed guys. You don't back up, because then they have more room to run and be shifty and fast. So you actually play them up closer. So you're actually, you're doing the reverse for them. And then it's like, you're playing so far back. So that's why our run defense sucks, is those shifty guys. They're able to run so fast, where our defensive, especially our middle linebackers, aren't able to react and catch up, basically, because they're already so far back in the play. So it's like, move up. Yeah, just come out. Like, the airplane guy, the guy's like,
come
shining
on.
the lights, like, come on.
It's
now, back
okay.
it up.
We said this last show too. We're like, we got Tyreek Stevenson. We got a Terrell Smith. These long-armed corners that can play a press man, that can play up front. And it's like, I don't mind that if you have the corner, like the safeties back, right? Like what you said, bump them, like get them off their route. Let them do something. Let them challenge them at least. But I don't know how can you be sitting in the film room and just allowing this? Also, Sean Payton likes to throw these slants. That's where it doesn't make much sense. And yeah, Skylark, it boggles my mind, right? And also, actually, I can say this now. So PayPal, do you want some inside information? Actually, this is actually it's a public podcast. I won't actually say their name because I don't know how much they want this to be public, but these people have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. They did not post this out. But they did say they let this slip on one of their episodes. They said that Matt Eberflus was going to be fired by the Indianapolis Colts. They heard it from an insider, but then the Bears hired him as the head coach. So he wasn't going to be fired. And this is from these insiders that are out in Las Vegas. Like I said, hundreds of thousands of followers. They run a betting podcast that I've tweeted about in the past. They said, well, we don't want this to be too public, but they're like, we've been keeping this close to the vest. Yeah, they're like, we've been keeping this close to the vest, but, and I'm like, seriously? Like, it's crazy, but yeah, it's frustrating to see what's going on with this. But you did talk about Jaquan Brisker, our best pass rusher. He had 4 total pressures today on 4 total pass rush snaps. So he still is our best pass rusher on the team. But just to go through these, I'll just kind of walk through these. The only people that had wins, according to PFF, Jack Sanborn, Jaquan Brisker, DeMarcus Walker, Andrew Billings, Justin Jones, and Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah, Justin Jones at least won, but still, we only had 12 pressures.
Yeah, only
Not
12.
good.
And it was all Andrew honestly, in my eyes, it was all Andrew Billings. Like that's from what I saw. It was like, wow, those first 3 plays, if you watch the first play, Andrew Billings is already in the backfield. And then the third play, Andrew Billings is in the backfield again. Like he is really like he was a great signing, and like it just sucks that we don't have that help. And I know we kind of talked about this actually before the show. Of you talked about the snap count of the rookies.
Yep.
Like, why aren't they playing more? And like I think they bring that energy, and it's like, what are you gonna lose not having Justin Jones out there? Like, I don't think he's doing anything spectacular. He's holding the edge or whatever those BS kind of reasons that we have for keeping these veterans, and put Javon Dexter out there, or honestly Zach Pickens. I don't know if they don't want those guys to not be out there together. I don't know if that's their kind of logic behind it, but give them more reps. I really think they give some different feel and energy to the team.
Yeah, I'll pull up. I have snap counts up right now. So there was 48 total defensive snaps that were out there. Zach Pickens played 9, and Javon Dexter played 10. So they only played a fifth. Good news, Rasheem Green played only 11. So there's at least that. And he had a whopping 30.6 PFF grade for those curious.
Oh, I wonder how Terrell Lewis would be on this team.
Yeah, right.
How Travis Gibson, any of those guys, honestly.
Yeah, and I know Broski was asking about how many sacks. I think it was just 1 sack or 1 or 2 sacks. I don't have it up right now. ESPN has it as 1. 1 sack. So, but then also too, I'm just looking at the snap counts. Dominique Robinson 15. So it did look like they gave a lot more snaps out to Yannick Ngakoue and DeMarcus Walker. We've talked about this before. They like to kind of have those hockey sets where they kind of switch people in and out. But yeah, Justin Jones, though, that's the big question mark. And I think that's where you get the hockey lines where they like the rookies together. So play the rookies more. And it's, well, or split them up, right? Why not split them up? Why not reward good behavior? Now, I don't mean Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens look amazing, but they do look a little bit better than Justin Jones. Justin Jones did have a play, like he did cut through, but Justin Jones has not been good at all. And I do agree with you. Why not? Why not put a Javon Dexter next to a good vet in an Andrew Billings who has been playing very well? So we'll see. But this defense,
fun little thing is, I had a Travis Gibson. I just pulled up his stats. He's actually not doing like crazy good, but today he had a forced fumble sack. So like that is such a big game changer. We saw it during this game of how it affected us when Justin Fields fumbled the ball. Like, it would just be nice to have a guy that's able to do that. And so far, we don't have anyone.
Yeah, I think I heard today Nicholas Morrow had 3 sacks. Like
Jeez.
Nicholas Morrow.
Is he on Eagles?
I think
Right?
Eagles. Yeah, I think I heard it
Yeah.
was on the Eagles, and then he had 3 sacks. But
Because they're using him right. They didn't just have him sit back and
yeah,
they have him play aggressive.
yeah, it's abysmal. So
Yeah.
we shouldn't even talk about the defense. We should be like, we'll skip it. So actually, now we'll talk about what's next. What's next for the Bears? What's next for the Unbearable Sports Podcast? For those that listened to our preview,
I wanted to mention just a few things with the defense, Brad, if I just could.
okay, yeah, you can.
First
still
off,
say
is
some.
our linebackers are terrible. I just don't think we were able to talk about that at all. Is none of them played well. I think TJ Edwards is the only one that's actually looking pretty decent out there. Of like, okay, he's playing up to his contract. I guess Sanborn technically is because he's not getting paid anything. But Sanborn looks terrible.
Yeah, he's been playing
Yeah,
better than his
he's
contract because it's nothing. So,
yeah, but it's like he's not looking good. Like, I'm honestly at the point, bring in Sewell. Like, sad enough. I mean, we know we're big Sanborn fans. He has not been playing up to the standard. Tremaine Edmonds, like, when are we gonna see that he is the star that we got? And I know you kind of have the reasoning because it's like, yeah, you only had that one good season last season, and it's kind of catching up to us because we don't. Tremaine Edmonds, just what are you doing, pal? Like, you are not. Maybe it's just. I'm honestly thinking more. It's just like, is it just Eberflus's coaching of like having his players not play aggressive and play up in people's faces because he is so talented and we're not seeing any of it.
yeah, I'd love to see Leslie Frazier in here. Like, and
Yeah.
that's where too with these linebackers as well. I think it's hard. I think it's super hard to judge them a little bit, but at the same time, this is still the coaching staff that developed a lot of really good linebackers. So
Mhm.
this coaching staff has shown that they've been able to do that at Indianapolis, where they were just a linebacker factory. And
Yeah.
to not have your linebackers in position, and I still think that the TJ Edwards signing, very low contract, a reasonable contract to give a starting linebacker. Tremaine Edmonds, it still has you scratching your head going, but I thought that linebackers weren't worth this, and that's why we traded away Roquan Smith. If you were going to pay someone that type of money, why not just pay Roquan Smith then?
Yeah.
I mean, you get a second round pick, yes, but yeah, like what Bears Bones says, Edmonds is never really around the ball too much. It's Edwards that's around the ball, if anything, when you're talking
Mhm.
about these linebackers. So yeah, they do need to do something. They need to look better. But PayPal, what do you got? Did you have anything else from the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, just I honestly think Terrell Smith, like, really surprised. It didn't surprise me this game because I always thought he was a good corner, but just having that one play, it's really gonna stick in my mind. Of first of all, just having two rookie corners play side by side, awesome. But yeah, when it was that fourth down? It was basically for them to try and get that first down to seal the game, the Broncos. And I think it was like a 3rd and 7 maybe. And Terrell Smith was everyone was one-on-one coverage. We were sending the house. It was cover 0. And Terrell Smith, one-on-one slant. That was money all day. And then he swatted it. He got it to be finished. Like, that is an amazing play by a rookie.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give him
Yeah,
a little light because I was really proud to see a 5th round rookie doing that.
for sure. For sure. I agree there. That, and like we said, looking Smith at least looks good. I think, is he Jalen Johnson replacement level? No. No,
Mhm.
not at all. Not there yet. Don't know if he will ever get there, but yeah, it's good to see that rookie play. Also, your boy Greg Stroman making the 3rd down stop on the screen. I thought that was a good play. So yeah, that sprinkles of good plays, but this reminds me of the last year of John Fox, where I remember watching the games going, why aren't we winning games? And it's because this team doesn't know how to win. We don't know how to complete games. We don't have that. And like Nagy won games the way, and he shouldn't have won games.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we went 8-8 with Matt
he
Nagy, we won. Even though the defense sucked at times and the offense sucked was like the worst offense in the league. We still miraculously won. And that's where it's like, can we just have some of that Nagy magic where he randomly won games when he had no business winning games, right? Like he did not deserve to win games, but he won. And this game, we should have won. We should have won this. And that's, I think, the frustrating part is let's win some games. But let's see what happens. Let's talk about what's next.
Now let's do it.
Now let's talk about what's next after I already switched it over. So Thursday, we got the game coming up. So stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell out there on YouTube because I don't know when we will be going live, but we will be going live to do the preview. And then maybe Sunday, because we have the game on Thursday, PayPal, maybe on Sunday, let's break down some tape. Let's break down some draft prospects. It's draft season, baby. We're going to already start including some drafts coverage so that we can keep you in the loop with who to look out for, who to watch, because we got to see some optimism. This team, we got to get better. We need to get better. The draft is already there. We have number 1 and number 2 picks currently. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But also, I have a poll out there on YouTube. If for anyone that subscribes, you can say, what do you want us to scout out in our first scouting episode? So make sure to vote on what you want us to break down. I'm kind of hoping defensive ends because I want to see some pressure. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But I feel like it's going to be quarterback. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a quarterback. Like I feel like wide receiver is kind of a big thing, but yeah, I don't really think it's like offensive line, but I don't think that's a fun one to start off with, you know.
This guy's got good feet. Yeah.
So it's like I think defensive line would be good. Because wide receiver, I think we talk about quarterback and receiver because it's like, hey, we can pick the 2 best people in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. and good old guy from USC.
Hey, Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. So it's like, yeah, why do we have to talk about anyone else at this point? We're 0-4 and the Panthers are 0-4. We're good to go.
That's the best thing. It was a good game for the Bears, but unfortunately they fell flat. But everyone, thank you so much for listening, watching, however you do it. We definitely appreciate it so much. And if you're listening, why not subscribe? You've already listened this far. After a Bears loss, we have plenty of great coverage coming up. But also make sure to rate 5 stars out there on Apple Podcasts. Link down below in the description. You can just click that. It'll take you right to Apple Podcasts. Even if you don't have an iPhone, you can actually create your own account, rate it 5 stars, and then you'll be in the running. You can just leave a comment, bear down, or anything that we can kind of get in contact with you just so we can see your username. But with that, another Bears loss, another show in the books, but we will be breaking down some draft prospects like the good people want to see. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.